Okay, we're going to be drawing a sphere, and so I want you to, I've made a clay ball here, and I just want you to really look at it for a second before we start. Um, when you're going to draw a sphere, you really have to know, where your light source is. So it's good to make yourself a little model like this, something to look at. This is the light source is up here, and it's shining down onto it here. And so the first place it's hitting is right about here, right up here. That's the brightest area up in here. And then this is what you call like the transitional shadows, where it's, kind of getting gradually darker. And then what you want to try to find is what's called the core of the shadow. And it's going to be kind of where the object is turning away from the light. So I can see a core of this shadow like right up in here. And then the reason why I know that's the core is because, can you see that it's lighter down here? And the reason why that is because light, just like sound waves, it'll reflect, it'll shine down, hit here, hits the back of the surface that the object is on, and shines back up and hits the object again up here. So it lightens up the back side of the where the shadow is. And light bounces back and forth, so what's happening here is it bounces here, it bounces back down again, and a lot of times you'll see that it lights up the area right in here a little bit too. You can kind of see this is a little bit darker, and then it gets a little bit lighter right here, and then the edge of the shadow is a little bit darker, kind of a middle tone. But so those are your main things. You want to kind of know how to label them. We're going to call this highlight. This we're going to call the transitional area. We're going to call this the core of the shadow. This is reflected light. And then this is your cast shadow. And you may have, again, some reflected light inside of the shadows. The shadows aren't generally one flat gray or color. All right, so now that we've looked at it, let's get ready to draw it.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to do it kind of small so I can do it quickly. I think we all know what to do now, so let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to do a circle outline. And, if you want to use so you trace something that's circular to make it easier, you can. So I'm just going to do it by hand. Alright, now to make this kind of fast and easier, I'm going to just shade the whole entire thing and then smooth it. Smooth it with the tortillon. Blend it together. Okay, just to make it a little easier, get started a little faster this way. Alright, go back, clean it up. Alright, so again, what we're looking at is our four distinct areas. The highlight, the mid-tone, the core of the shadow, the reflected light, and then the cast shadow. So I'm going to make my highlight right here. So I'm going to go back in and erase that so you can see this is where I'm planning to have my highlight. That's where the light is hitting first. And so that makes all of this that I've already kind of toned is my transition, my mid-tone. Then I just need to find the core of the shadow, which is going to be about here. I'm going to darken that. lined up that area where I know the core of the shadow is. Where the reflected light is coming in. Whoops. And then you've got the cast shadow behind it. To me, this is the darkest. The cast shadow is the darkest, so although the core is just about equivalent, so I'm probably going to need to darken up on the core of the shadow a little bit. I'm just going to blend it. I'm leaving a little bit of light in my shadow because if you'll remember, we noticed that there was often a little bit of reflected light in the shadow as well. Makes it look more interesting than just like a flat shadow. And then we need to get right up in here and darken the part that's closest to the object. And I was noticing I could darken up the core of the shadow a little bit. Again, you'll want to use strokes that are kind of in the same direction as like in other words, you wouldn't want to use really straight lines on a rounded surface. You want them to be curved and rounded like your object is. But that is basically all there is to it. And, you know, if you don't have a tortillon, that's okay. It's kind of convenient because you don't get your hands so dirty, but you can use your fingers. And cleaning up your drawing in the end is important too, because you want those nice crisp lines. But that is basically all that there is to